we want to get vulnerable and feel heartbroken, and then we heard this and we're like, we want to get nasty. Take mine off me. Oh, golly gee. I don't think they've ever heard me over a beat like this. They've never really heard me talk about like sex. Hey, I'm Tate McRae.
And I'm Grant Boutin.
And we're gonna take you behind the song of Sports Car. I've been kind of writing this album throughout being on tour literally all of last year, so it was really interesting. Any chance I got to be in a studio or bring a microphone onto the bus or into hotel rooms, I would try to record anything. A lot of it was just an inner look at turning 21 and stepping into my body as a woman for the first time, and sometimes the repercussions of that, my relationship with the media, going through heartbreak and then falling in love again. And I felt like the whole palette was pretty like inspired by early 2000s pop music and anything I can dance and move to on tour.
Tate and I randomly met through Ryan Tedder on the last album. I helped do a lot of the finishing production on Greedy. It was really cool with this project. Tate and I started working a lot more just kind of like one-on-one.
It was really cool because I feel like when Grant and I, usually we would have these like planned out sessions, because obviously you have your days planned out to be like, okay, let's write the album, let's get the bulk of it. And then every time that Grant and I would go off, it would just be like, let's just experiment and do whatever we want to do. This whole song started because Julia Michaels had this wish, this desire for a pop girl to recreate the Whisper song by the Yin Yang Twins.
Hey, how you doing, little mama? Let me whisper in your ear.
She was like dying to do it. I was terrified because I'm such a sucker for melodies. The day that we started doing this, we started just writing this really flirty song. Grant started playing this beat, this like nasty pop girl beat, and we honestly just started like writing this story from start to finish. And as we progressed to the chorus, we found this really cool metaphor. The feeling of sex and the feeling of love in a relationship can directly correlate to a sports car. I think what I really wanted to do was take back control in this video. Sometimes when you obviously are in this position and you become a singer, you're perceived by so many eyes. You sometimes forget what you think and how you feel about things. So in this video, it was really important for me to like take back control and be like, no, I get to watch this first, and I get to watch all these different versions of myself before anybody else. So I'm like sitting in this chair watching me go through 12 different characters and looks and fashion statements. We also thought it was really cool because we're like, this song is talking about a sports car, and I could kind of be the sports car in these rooms. I could be the girl who's on display and showing off, and so that was a funny connection. I know a lot of people hated that I didn't have a sports car in the music video, but I thought it was sick.
This was like the day one bounce of the song. I think I just played this intro and everyone got really excited about it.
Well, when you hear a beat like that, you're like, oh my, like me and Julie were like, ah! Just like the girls in the room were just like, oh my God, we want to go dance in a club. We want to feel hot. I love writing with females because there's no other person that can grasp the feeling that like this energy that like you don't have to say anything. The girls just know. You know how you feel when you want to go out. You know how you feel when you like feel hot for the first time and you're out with your girls. Like there's no other comparable feeling. And so when Julie and I like hear things, we either like, we want to get vulnerable and feel heartbroken, and then we heard this and we're like, we want to get nasty. Take mine off me. Oh golly gee. I can't take no more, I'm going.
This was the original guitar that originally it was like part of the verse production. And it just kind of layered on top now to give chorus 2 a little more additional punch.
I think it was Ryan who actually came in. I think he can sometimes like do a really good girl impression. I think you know what this is. I'm like, okay, Ryan. I think we're just going back and forth for lyrics. I actually have a voice some of when I first wrote it. This might be really bad.
I think you know what this is. I think you wanna. No, you ain't got no misses.
Well, if
You got a sports car.
I was scrolling as we were like writing this, because I was still like figuring out what felt right. I was scrolling on Pinterest, and my Pinterest is just like heartbreak quotes and then just like vision stuff. So there's like random sports cars that sometimes like pop up, or like nice houses. I just started singing. I'm like, but you got a sports car. And then I was like, oh, this. And then we like actually started to figure out the meaning of the song and the metaphor of the song.
I think you wanna. No, you ain't got no misses. Oh, but you got a sports car.
It was really difficult for me to make this whisper sound like sexy. The tone of the whisper was like the hardest thing to track. So I was like, oh, I sound too aggressive, or I sound like I'm like angry. So it was like trying to find the perfect like soft tone of the song. And then we decided to add harmonies on the second chorus to have it build up. And I remember Ryan was just like, we need to get some like really Princey harmonies coming in on there that just feel like that tension building up, aren't like bright, happy harmonies.
No, you ain't got no misses. Oh, but you got a sports car. We can in it.
I love the pre-chorus. I think like in order to have a down chorus like this, you need a super melodic pre to make it feel like it's building up to something, and then the payoff is right. We were like very specific on these notes and making sure it felt right going into the pre.
Someone on TikTok described this song as like a kitchen sink level of percussion. And there's like so many little bits and pieces in here that I've just layered throughout, like these toms. You know, a couple layers. There's this interesting kind of loop here. There's the bass thing going bam, bam, and I also have some of I like layered myself humming like
We tried to mess around with the bass of this song so much because I at one point was wanting like just 808s because I was like, something's too aggressive. It was honestly balancing out the feminine and aggressive and like what's like the meanest mix of that. It was a lot of going back and forth of like what just like felt the best.
A lot of people have been asking about this intro, thinking that there's like a vocal just saying illegal or something in it.
Oh yeah, what is that?
I don't know what they're saying.
You live with these songs for so long that by the end you just like are doing anything to recreate that euphoric feeling that you first felt when you first heard the song. So we were just going through a million different versions of like whether we repeat the intro at the end. We thought the song was done, and then I came into the studio with Grant and I was like, I have the oh my god, you don't want to waste my time. I was like, I need something to pick up the dance.
Oh my god, you don't wanna waste my time. Let's go ride.
Play it, just the vocal, and because we added in a harmony on the second half. It kind of like built it up, made it feel bigger.
Oh my god, you don't wanna waste my time. Let's go ride. Let's go ride.
So the original outro was literally just the intro. Beep, 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 beep. And you didn't feel like that was giving you that kind of like emotional release that you were looking for in a lot of your songs. So I just started layering a ton of stuff on top of each other and trying to do these like little breaks and things.
Oh, you don't know how my obsession with sirens is disgusting. I need a siren in every single one of my songs.
I'm always preparing myself to get asked for the siren. Can we just sneak a little siren in there, you know? You'll notice I'm like cutting out a little bits of audio for these like cool fills, like this beat reverse. I think I just balanced the entire song to audio and just reversed like this part of it and like pitched it up an octave. I think it's still kind of an ode to the early 2000s aesthetic of this song.
We've created so much music over the past couple years. I've written a whole bunch of songs with lyrics like this, and I've experienced like trying this song 10 times before this song. It's funny when the fans hear me like speak about something for the first time. I don't think they've ever heard me over a beat like this. They've never really heard me talk about like sex or like love like this. If they've been following me since I was 15, I've been writing heartbreak songs in my bedroom. And I think it's been interesting to see how my music has evolved since then and how I've come into my own as a woman and as a dancer. Sometimes the media is such an interesting thing to have because even like the good and the bad, it fucks you up either way. It makes you feel like you're not a real person. I'm just trying to put my best art out and make performances that make me feel happy and inspired. And when everyone is sitting in the room feeling like we're creating some type of magic and feeling like every person can do their best and strive for like the best piece of art, that's when this whole process becomes so fun and inspiring. The second I think about other people watching me or trying to figure me out or trying to figure out what I'm trying to do, that's when I lose it. 'Cause I'm just like, I don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to dance and sing and create as much as I can and figure it out along the way. It is cool to do pop and be a pop girl.